Today we're going to compare the Tenjam chairs to the Tupelo chairs. Now Tupelo makes a few different chair models. We have two of them here today. This one's called the Tupelo line chair. This chair works up to 8-inch water depth. So we selected a pool today that has 7.5-inch water depth, so we can give this a fair kind of comparison. We're going to compare it to the Tenjam Freelo chair. So it's a Tenjam chair, Tupelo line chair. Tupelo loop table also works up to 8-inch water depth. This is a Tupelo loop chair. Now this chair goes up to 11-inch water depth, and we have a video on that as well, and you'll see it work in an 11-inch pool. But today we're going to put it in the 8 inches as well. Again, Tenjam's Freelo chair, just two different colors. We brought a gray granite and a white granite chair. Tenjam Ripple side table, Tenjam moon chair, Tenjam Wusa chair, and a Tenjam amp table. So we brought all these primarily to show how easy and hard they are to put in and out of a pool, so we'll get through all that. We also just, price point wise and manufacturing wise, these are roto-molded polyethylene products. And so polyethylene products with UV additive to help with color fading and just ultimate outdoor performance to live in a pool. So what we want to look at is, just because a product is polyethylene, does that necessarily mean it can go into a pool? Well, sure, the material can, but was the product designed from the get-go to be easy to put in and out of a pool? So we'll look at that today amongst the Tenjam product line and these Tupelo products. So price point wise, same construction, roto-molded polyethylene, but Tenjam's price points are significantly less expensive. So on similar sized chairs, this chair right now retails for $499. This chair delivered is the line chair, that's $895. It's 44% more cost for the Tupelo product. So we'll look at kind of what makes them different. Is that extra $400, almost $500 worth it? And so we'll check that out. This chair by Tupelo is $795, $80 shipping. Comes out to like $875 around there right now. And then Tenjam's larger, wider moon chair with armrest cup holders retails right now at $750. Tenjam's Wusa chair. This is the most comfortable chair by Tenjam. Full height backrest, full support, great lumbar. This chair is right around like $880 right now. So very, like the exact same price point to these Tupelo chairs. So now let's put some stuff in the pool. Let's start with the Tenjam Freelo chair. Now the bottoms of Tenjam products, these were designed from the get-go to be made for these shallow pools. These pools can go anywhere from just a few inches of water all the way up to, we've seen 22 inches of water, and Tenjam's got a full product range that works in all those depths. Now this chair called the Freelo chair works up to 8-inch water, or sorry, up to 11-inch water depth, and we're going to test it right now in 7.5. Now the bottom of the Tenjam chairs, they have holes throughout the bottom of the chair, okay, through every leg. This right here is a one-way check valve. So what it's going to allow me to do is set this chair into the water. Water is going to automatically start filling the core of the product, and the air is going to just get displaced out of this hole. So it's super easy to put in the pool. Also, the cut holes in the bottom of the product, there's little rounded standoffs around that. So it holds that cut edge off the bottom of the pool. So designed from the get-go to be an in-pool product, but also easily work on the patio. Those cut holes staying off the pool bottom are great for vinyl liner pools. So here, we got two methods we can use to fill the Freelo. We have the set it in place method, and you'll see right now it's kind of bobbing a little bit, but water's coming in through those bottom holes, filling the core of that product, and the air is coming out of that back valve. Now, if you want that process to be faster, or you have deeper water, oh, by the way, there's a little handle on it, you can come over to the edge of the pool, step down in off the edge of the sun shelf or tanning ledge. You can hear that thing just filling with water. See the bubbles coming out. Now, it's not important that you get water all the way up in. You just want the water level to be in here, just either at the water line or just above the water line to act as weight, holding that chair into place. So now I filled it, keeping the bottom of the chair under the water. You feel that's solid now. That's full of water, and it's not moving. This one here is still filling by itself. You can see it's not quite as solid yet, but it will continue to fill and get more solid. So let's take these two chairs. We're just going to move them over. And then we're going to get the Tupelo line chair. Okay, so those are moved over. Let's look at this chair. Now this chair, on the bottom, there's not a handhold. On the bottom of this chair, you can see there's a like a screwed in port. So we got metal screws holding in this port, and the instructions are to open this up like that, and then set it into the pool and start to fill it. Now, these chairs, when I put the Tenjam products in the pool, I wasn't going to scratch up the corners and stuff. This material, polyethylene, kind of its Achilles heel is that it can get scratched. The pool bottoms are fairly rough. So if you turn this over, it's heavy, and you start scuffing up the corners, your $800 or $900 chair isn't going to look so great anymore. So here's the instructions for this chair. So we're going to fill it with water. Okay. Get this cap. Put the cap back in place. And now I'll move this onto the tanning ledge. Okay, so that product's filled. It's solid. Wasn't too hard to fill. I thought that was fairly easy. It's definitely heavy. And then I'm going to look at one more chair. I'm going to look at two more products here. I'm going to look at the Tupelo loop chair. And with the loop chair, the bottom of this product doesn't have the screw port. Instead, there's two little black ports right here that I need to remove with a screwdriver. So I need to go get a screwdriver, and I'll be right back. All right, got my screwdriver. Now, without scratching this chair, I'm going to pry these ports out of here. So this is just like a little, call them Christmas tree plugs, just a little flanged black plug. It's about a ½ inch in diameter, I'd say. Again, try not to scratch up the chair. Here's the other plug. So now with this chair, I've got to get the water to fill this chair through those holes right there. I know for a fact this chair was not designed to be a pool chair when it was first designed. So it's definitely an afterthought type of system to fill this chair. And I just have to apply pressure. I'm keeping one hole underwater, one hole above water, so that water can enter that hole in the bottom and come out that top hole, or the air can come out that top hole. Just applying a lot of pressure to keep that underwater. I can hear it happen. You can kind of maybe see some bubbles coming out of it. I'm pretty much just standing on this chair right now. You can see that's about not much water's gotten all the way into it yet. Get further into the pool. And just keep pressure. Now this chair works up to 11-inch water depth, but here we're just going to test it in the 7.5. So I don't have to make it work in this water depth. I know I don't have to fill it all the way, but I do have to get the water to where it's above that 7.5-inch water line. I don't think I'm quite there. I'm just gonna fill it a little bit longer. Slowly but surely getting there. Now what's interesting is with these chairs, you're filling them with pool water. And the Tenjam chairs, the water that has big holes on the bottom, so the pool water can constantly recirculate through the core of the chair to help reduce algae growth. Products like this, where you have to put the plugs back in, trap the water inside, what happens is if you don't change that water out frequently, it will start to grow algae inside of it. So right now, I think I've got it good enough. The thing is now, I do have to put those plugs back in. Get those. And pushed it in. Now these plugs, part of rotomolding is, part of the process is you have to have these vents while you're molding it. So these are just simply vent plugs. So every rotomolded product will always have one or two of these holes and this same little cover. So that's just you'll see it on everything. But products that are meant for the pool, we'll put those vents strategically in places where we're going to cut it out and create bigger portholes to make them easier to fill. So this product now is full, but that's the process I had to go through to fill it. Now with the Tupelo table, this thing's tiny, and I'm going to go through the filling process of this little thing too. Again, this porthole, pry it up. See, I've already started to scuff that up. There we go. And I got one hole that I've got to sit here and try to get water into the core of this table up to 8 inches tall. Water's just gonna, or air is gonna slowly come out of this, and we're gonna end up speeding up this video after I get this done, because this is gonna be a long, slow process to get this table filled. If I just try to put it in the water as it is, it's not gonna work. I have to get water all the way up to that 8-inch mark or higher in order for it to work in this pool. Painful. And again, when every couple weeks to a month at most, you're going to have to change the water out of this table to make sure you're putting chlorinated pool water back into it to resist algae growth, or else this thing will start turning green inside of it. You'll have a science project, but I can guarantee you can never get all the water out of this one hole. It will be stuck in there. Trying to speed it up. Again, this is just the one vent hole as part of the rotomolding process. So if they started to make this furniture as pool furniture, it would have been more thought out to make it easier for water to get in, get out, recirculate. But this is more of an afterthought of, hey, it's rotomolded plastic, works in a pool. Well, does it? I guess it does once you go through all this step of filling it. Hey, there we go. Close enough. I'll put the plug back in. We'll get that in there like that. Put that little table there. It's still kind of moving around, but you could put more water into it. You could get water all the way up to the top if you had time and wanted to get through that. For a Tenjam table, let's go grab this table quick. Let's grab the Amped table by Tenjam. The bottom of it, large air holes on the bottom, allows the water to constantly recirculate within the table. On this pool sun shelf, I could actually just set it down. Done, okay? So much taller table surface. If I look at it, if I want to take it out of the pool, it's so easy to take out of the pool. This table works up to 10-inch water depth, but can go up to 13-inch water depth if you pull one of the cup holders out and put a weight inside. So it can give you a bigger range. You can go through a process of filling it like this, make it super fast to fill. Now the water's just going back down, find its level, it's gonna be good to go. So that's the difference of how Tenjam's designed their in-pool furniture to be pool furniture, to make it easy to pull in and out of the pool. Some people have safety covers. They wanna put the cover on when they're not using the pool, if kids are running around the backyard or pets. So if it's time to take the furniture out of the pool, that's done. The big air holes are gonna let air circulate through the product, so the core of the product's going to dry out and not grow algae inside of it. If you want to take a Freelo chair out of the pool, just lift up the back end, lift up the front end. Got a little handle you can hold on while that's happening. And again, big air holes on the bottom, so that thing's going to dry out when it's on the patio. Now I can use this as an extra patio chair. Go throw it around the fire pit. Another thing you can do with the Tenjam chairs, you can just come over here, Designed just to set it down like that. So if you don't want to hold it the whole time, you can just, hold it like that. It's empty. So not quite empty. There, it's empty. So that's that. Now let's start with this line chair. So I got this full of water. If I was just gonna pull this out of the pool, I really can't lift it. It's gotta be like 100 or more pounds. Probably like 150-ish, maybe pounds. So you can either go through the draining process or you try to get out of your pool like this. Okay. So that's a method to get a Tupelo chair out of the water if you were going to put a safety cover on. Not a lot of spots to grab it. You can see this chair also has tiny little pinholes at the bottom of the corners. So the water will eventually drain out of it. It's just going to be a while. So we can just, my gosh, that's a lot. We could just leave it there, let it be for a second. This chair, I didn't fill it all the way. So this may be a 75 pounder. It's 30 pounds dry, but that's how you could try to get that chair out of the pool. And this is so tiny, that's easy to pull out. However, do you really want these full water chairs around your patio? Obviously, you're not going to move it around much. The Tenjam chairs can go from pool to patio around a fire pit, easy to move. These chairs, not at all, unless you drain them. So we're going to drain them quick, or not quick. So I'm going to pop the cap. By the way, you'll end up ruining that after doing this a few times. Since I don't want to sit here holding it. Can let that do its thing. This chair. Gosh, wouldn't you rather own a Tenjam chair? My goodness. Okay, so I'm going to set this down on the edge on the pool like that. Now, again, rough surface, heavy product. So this is where these products start to get beat up over time. You start to scratch up the sides, the corners. And on this polished surface that Tupelo has, looks great out of the box, but you see scratches a lot easier. So as you move this chair around, you're going to start seeing the scuff marks. Now, I got to pull these two plastic plugs. Which after just one time, I'm already chewing up this cap. So this cap is already getting all chewed up. This one is under the water. Okay. Now I'm gonna leave this chair like this because if there's water up here, I got one hole underwater right now, and that chair is gonna at least drain down to there before I have to deal with it again. This chair, I don't know if you can see the patio, but this chair is like all the water is coming out of that porthole, just going everywhere on the patio. So if your pool water depth is above or below that porthole, that water will constantly drain out of there. And I've seen comments where my chair, like on Tupelo site, where the chair doesn't hold water. Well, the reason why is you got that porthole on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that leak in water. This just fell over. So if you have the Tupelo in-pool products, this is going to be the fun process you get to go through whenever you want to put your pool cover on, or if you want to try to use these chairs on the patio or try to fill them and put them in the water. So right now we're on this porthole. Again, I don't want to scratch the side of the chair. There's no really way to move this without doing that. Oh. So Tupelo says just open up the porthole. It'll be super easy to drain. I don't think that's going to help too much. We'll do this. You can see the little holes are leaking here. So I will try to get most of the water up by doing this. Okay. the water, I don't think you're just ever going to get all the way out of here. I guess they do have those little corners that you can get the water out that way. But the way this porthole is designed is, you can see I've got the thing wide open, and I'm just not quickly getting water out of it. So there's just going to be water in here until it finally drains out of those two little bottom holes. This port, again, installed with metal screws. And for fun, let's just take these screws out. Oh, I lost a screw. And I know this is adding a lot of time to our video, but I think it's important for you to see the bottom of these Tupelo chairs if you're really considering buying them for your pool. Take out this. My point in taking this out is I'm going to show you on this product, Ledge Lounger products, any products that have screw ports in the bottom of the product that you rely on to fill the product with water and trap or hold water inside are really flawed because they don't allow the water out. And you can see by the position of where this hole is that the water is going to always go to these low spots but not find that hole. This hole should be positioned more towards a corner where you can lean the product to get the water towards it. And I've got those metal screws in this porthole. Now where the plastic is, that plastic is about 1/4 of an inch thick. But the piece that goes up into that plastic has a wall that's over almost 3/4 of an inch thick. So when it goes in here, the plastic comes in, but you've always got this taller wall, so the water just can't flow and go out of the hole. So I'll put that back in. Oh, by the way, there's no grommet on there. That's why it leaks. There's a little, I guess, a washer O-ring on here to stop the water from coming out of this, but there's no O-ring to stop the water from coming out from around it while it's in the pool. But without that in there and the position of that, I'm still going to struggle to get water out of this thing, but I got a better shot at getting more out without that wall there. Anyway, that's about as good as I can do with this product. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to see how this one's doing. This one is still a tank. And the water is going to come out of these holes if I kind of position it like that, or let's just try putting it on the pool deck. And oh my God, those holes are right here. So let's get those over the pool, and we'll let some of that water drain out of there. And while that's doing it, I'll show you a couple of the other Tenjam products. So this Moon Chair by Tenjam. If I move this into the pool, this is a lower price point, less than $100 less than the Tupelo chairs. This is the Moon Chair. You see the bottom is wide open. This thing works up to 12-inch water depth. That's how easy it is to put in the pool. Okay? That's how easy it is to take out of the pool. So super simple. And the Tenjam Wusa chair. Chair has open air holes at the end of the feet. There's holes aligned between the base unit and the seat unit. Again, set it in the pool, good to go. Super simple. Now this chair goes all the way up to 13-inch water depth, or up to 18-inch if you had a weight inside the leg. So super deep water. And that's draining it. My point is the Tenjam products and the Tupelo products, they're both rotomolded polyethylene, so of course that material goes into the pool. But you think about product design, and if you're actually going to put them in a pool, this was not thought through as a pool product. It's a patio product that can now go into the pool. But you can see this thing's still full of water. You're relying on the water coming out of those two little holes, which it's never going to come all the way out. You'll always have water stuck inside this chair. So over time, what's that going to do? It's going to begin to grow. And so as you go to refresh the water in this chair, just kind of like good luck over time. You don't want to drain it back into the pool after a month either. You want to go take it back in your yard, drain it on the bushes or something, so it's just going to be full of algae. So that is the comparison between Tupelo in-pool chairs and Tenjam in-pool chairs. That gives you an idea. Thanks for watching.